Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Mohan Rajput from Impetus, and I'm going to be introducing our speakers. We have Yev from AWS, we have Grace from AWS, and we've got Abhishek from Impetus presenting the title Modernizing ETL to AWS
Oh my God,
Glue
this is for
using
people.
our product accelerator, LeapLogic. So I'll now hand over the mic to Yev and to take it over from here.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's good to be back and reInvent, and thank you for joining. I'm Yev. I'm a go-to-market specialist for AWS Glue, and today we're going to be talking about how to automate the modernization of legacy ETL to AWS Glue by using LeapLogic. So even though we presented last year, a lot of challenges are still the same, which our customers are facing. We try to look at those challenges from three different compartments. One is IT leadership, another one is data management, and third is business team challenges. So from IT leadership, the customers are still complaining that their legacy ETL solutions are becoming expensive year over year, and they don't provide multi-persona support. At the same time, customers are getting locked in long-term commitments as well as proprietary code. From a data engineer challenges, customers are still telling us that there's infrastructure management issues when they're running on-prem or when they have to manage the clusters. There's a scalability issue, and in case there are turnover in staff, they have to upskill their staff into different tools all the time. From a business team challenges, they still asking us to improve their SLAs and figure out how to make their solutions more agile. So this is where we see AWS Glue being a very good fit, because AWS Glue is cost-effective because you pay per use. It's scalable. There's no hard limit. You can go to thousands of DPUs. There's no lock-in in terms of proprietary code or long-term commitments. You use open-source engines like Spark and Python. It empowers more users because on top of Glue, we have different UIs for different persona in case you want low-code, code, or no-code solution. And the best is it's serverless, so there's no infrastructure to manage. So this is a little bit about Glue. So AWS Glue is a serverless data integration service for easy to discover, prepare, and combine data for analytics, machine learning, and application development. So why AWS Glue is great is because with Glue, you get a lot of things out of the box. It's meant for ease of use. It has a lot of transform pre-built. You can just plug it in and start using it. It scales on demand. You avoid license cost and infrastructure idle time. And it's using powerful engines such as Spark and Python. And all in one, it supports all user personas and workloads. So as customers make their journey to cloud, a lot of times they tell us that they have a lot of sources that they need to ingest data from. So we have been asked by many customers to improve the amount of connectors we have. So that's what our focus was this year. So in Q2 2023, we launched all the open table formats on AWS Glue. So now we support Iceberg, Delta, and Apache Hudi. We also launched a new Spark connector for Redshift. Even though we had great integration with Redshift, now you're able to do ETL and ELT frameworks with Redshift. In Q3, we launched our connectors for Redshift serverless, BigQuery, and Snowflake. So with all those solutions, just like with Redshift, you can do ETL and ELT, and they're available natively with Glue. Right before reInvent, we launched 7 additional connectors natively with Glue, which are Teradata, MongoDB, Vertica, Amazon OpenSearch, SAP HANA, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure SQL Database. This really unlocks customer in terms of where they can ingest data from. Now, to expand a little on our connector story, so within AWS Glue, we offer 3 types of connector. We offer native connectors, which some of them you see here. We offer marketplace connectors, which are paid connectors you can get from marketplace, which are created by third-party companies. And then we offer custom connector. So if you come across where you don't have a connector, And there's a neat one. We expose our APIs, so you can actually build a custom connector using JDBC, which basically unlocks you to ingest data from any source or move the data to any target. Many of our customers, as they migrate from legacy ETL solution, they've been coming to us and they were asking for help, how they can potentially migrate to Glue and accelerate their migration. And because demand was so high, we ended up putting together an ETL modernization program last year. So the goal of this program is to modernize ETL workloads, reduce data integration costs by migrating to AWS Glue, and accelerating migration. So the benefits is you would get a no-cost, risk-free for customer assessment and proof of concept, where you can test out some of the automation to convert legacy ETL code to Glue. I work with many customers to help them with the total cost of ownership, help them with a high-level architecture, brief them on what roadmap has come in the next 6 to 12 months, because it's important to understand that as you adopt new solution, and support throughout migration. But the best thing, how we partnered with Impetus, is they created a solution called LeapLogic that really help us with code conversion from all of these solutions, such as Informatica, Talent, SAS, DataStage, Ab initio, etc. So we really unlocked all the customers to accelerate those migrations. And based on some successes that Abhishek is going to talk later on, we have achieved 80% code conversion. So with that, I want to pass it on to my colleague, Grace Tonsich, who is going to talk about what she sees in the field and explain how some of our customers are adapting Glue and migrating from legacy ETL solution. Grace?
So good afternoon, everyone. And I want to thank Yev and Abhishek and Impetus for inviting me to come here today, and welcome all of you. I wanted to sort of share, my name's Grace Tonsich. I'm an AWS analytics principal working in the field predominantly with some of the largest FSI financial services customers. And I wanted to share today some of the big trends that I'm seeing in the field and working with these customers. So the first big trend that I've really noticed is this interest to migrate away from legacy ETL solutions. This is essentially where customers have been on-prem and they've been paying on a per license basis. Customers want flexibility, elasticity, an ability to be able to pay for what they use. So what we're seeing is this definite interest to migrate away from legacy ETL. The second big trend is where customers have already moved and modernized to the cloud with some other data warehousing solutions such as Teradata or Snowflake, and they've been doing both the data warehousing as well as ETL. And they're also noticing that their costs are escalating. Being totally customer obsessed, as we are at AWS, we're working always to cost optimize with our end-to-end analytics solutions and working with customers with some of these data warehouses. Decoupling ETL from data warehousing is really critical to be able to substantially reduce cost. Working with customers to do that, we're seeing approximately 20%, 20 more percent cost optimization by decoupling ETL, moving to Glue, and continuing to support customers with modernized data warehousing for querying. The third big trend that I'm experiencing and what we're experiencing in the field is this interest to adopt AWS Glue for maximum scalability and flexibility. And this is really the ability to be able to, and I spoke about this, as a fully managed service. Customers are so thrilled to be able to move away from the typical patching, maintenance, upgrades, etc., with a fully managed service. And also the flexibility to be able to pay for what you use. The fourth big trend is that customers absolutely require that the ability to be able to connect to any and every data source that they may be interested in. And as Yev spoke, we have launched hundreds of connectors and new ones all the time to enable our customers to be able to connect to any data source utilizing AWS Glue for their analytics needs. The fifth trend is, we're seeing everything this year about generative AI, and customers want to be able to seamlessly integrate data sources and utilize data quality capabilities of AWS Glue to have confidence as they blend those data sources with data quality and integrate them into LLMs for the output for many of the use cases that they're now driving with generative AI, especially as they go out to production. So AWS Glue, we're seeing has wonderful interest and through their because of the data quality capabilities. And then finally, customers prefer open source ETL solutions and paying per use model. That is very attractive in using AWS Glue. I want to move quickly now to talk about a very large FSI customer that I have who was really interested in and had been working for quite some time around modernizing their ETL environment and were interested in moving to Glue. But there was a lot of complexity. They didn't know what was actually involved in modernizing the code. How long would it take? How manual it is. And being able to build up a use case to be able to unlock a budget, to understand what type of optimizations and performance benefits, and was absolutely critical. So in doing that, we were working with them and really upskilling them on AWS Glue, integrating this into their overall end-to-end analytics, modernized analytics environment. They had 3,000 to 5,000 data stage jobs that they were looking to modernize. And we worked very closely with them. We introduced them to several partners that potentially would be able to look at modernizing from their data stage environment, and they selected Impetus. Why? Because we were able to have Impetus come in to build the confidence of the customer. We ran a no-cost assessment that very quickly was able to evaluate the end-to-end environment, ETL environment, and give a snapshot of level of complexity of code and code conversion, effort of, the amount of optimization, and also the automation for this code transform, and build that picture of the level of effort. What that meant was up to 80% of their existing legacy ETL would be able to be converted with the Impetus LeapLogic tool and automatically move that over. That's a huge breakthrough. We were able to work with Impetus and the customer to build out a full picture of a TCO, and what it would take, not just level of effort, it would be also level of effort to migrate, the cost to migrate, time to migrate in a very accurate way, as well as what would it look like steady state. We're able to get a significant performance, performance upgrade, as well as being able to cost optimize up to 50%. So on that note, I would like to thank you for listening, and I'm going to pass you over to Abhishek. Abhishek from Impetus. Did it go okay?
The mic is... Thanks, guys, and thanks, AWS, for your partnership. So we talk about LeapLogic. So whenever any one of you are modernizing your ETL workloads, you have all of those challenges saying that these workloads have been in the ages for 15, 20 years. You don't have the right documentation of it. Can I move everything in one shot? How would I do it? This is where all of these challenges will be helped with Impetus. How can we do it? So this is a typical tool-specific options, right? On the left, on lift and shift. You just take the existing ETL data warehouse, move into AWS. You'll not be able to get the benefits of the cloud or the efficiency of it On the extreme other option of it, you have it as like remodernizing, re-architecting from the scratch of it. You end up moving a lot of time, manual effort over there. This is where Impetus LeapLogic comes to the picture. Takes the benefit of the both, able to modernize, but also automate in the fashion. How can we do it? It's LeapLogic. What is LeapLogic? LeapLogic is a machine learning engine which has the ability to identify any code patterns across the scope. It could be an ETL layer, data warehouse, reporting, so on. The machine learning engine can identify the business logic, what your code has. Irrespective of the documentation, all we need is, if you have Informatica, the Informatica XMLs of it. Data stage code. LeapLogic can analyze the particular logic and come back and say, these are specific dependencies, these are the complexities, and can extract the business logic and write to any of those AWS native services. You can rewrite Informatica Power Center mappings and workflows into AWS Glue notebooks, as well as Glue Studio Visual. How do we achieve it? Along with the LeapLogic product, we have a 4-stage methodology. We start with assessment, also called as exploration. Most of the customers are not aware what would that entire migration workload look like. There's no proper documentation, there's no proper dependencies of it. LeapLogic will be able to analyze your code artifacts and come back and say, hey customer, this is your X number of workflows, dependent tables, all the artifacts. And also along with that, a recommendation of a target architecture. Depending on your code, data volumetrics, you come back saying that Glue is feasible and we're going from data warehouse towards the corresponding one. And the key differentiation is, we'll be able to do a fixed bid, fixed duration of the project, which means even before the start of the project, you will know we'll be able to achieve this in X number of weeks and X number of cost. So all the financial risk is taken out of your picture. Once it's been there, goes to the next phase. That's where the actual magic happens, the transformation phase. LeapLogic will extract the business logic on your ETL code. It might be Informatica mappings, data stage, ab initio, any of that sort. And these workflows can also have embedded SQL statements, stored procedures. All of those will also be transformed to Glue equivalent as well. We'll be able to achieve anywhere between 85 to 95% of auto transformation. So engine can convert 85+% of code automatically into Glue. So it's a huge reduction of manual effort, a minimum of 50% plus. Once we do it, a minimum of 15% will be done from our engineers to get a 100% transformed code which has been validated. The next question is, Abhishek, how do I trust the code has been generated or validated or not? That's where comes the validation phase. LeapLogic can perform 2 stages of validation, code validation, data validation. Again, the data validation I can do at the aggregate level, but also cell-by-cell validation level. So that's the confidence the customer gets that the code provided by LeapLogic has the same business functionality the existing legacy had. And Impetus stands for the differentiation part is we start with the planning phase, but end to the operational phase of it. Which means if you have a CI/CD framework, package your ETL code of Glue into your native CI/CD framework and have the deployment automated fashion as well. So think about Impetus as a partner starting from planning phase all the way to the production line as well. And it's just some few of those technologies in the landscape, but we support more of these technologies on the left-hand side as well. It could go beyond data warehouse, reporting layer, SaaS, anything and everything. What are the benefits of doing with LeapLogic? As I said, the automation can reduce a significant effort and time. So they can focus on your market growth, will be first to the market, and focus on much more data insights after it's being done. And also a uniformity in the code. If you have 50 developers, there will be 50 different code versions coming out of it, but the engine has a specific auditing, monitoring, security, everything embedded within themselves. Another benefit of is like performance. Any transform code from LeapLogic is not just a plain vanilla transformation. We guarantee the SLAs. We meet or beat the business SLAs which you all have. So that's really cost effective as well. This is a quick story where we had a customer, we had like close to 350 plus workloads. We were able to automate 80% of them automatically. We're able to move them in a much more faster time duration than they anticipated manually as well. This is one more use case, thinks about, we can work with AWS professional services team as well. So we are MAP certified partners, we can work with AWS ProServe team. What are the typical next steps? Stop by to a booth of 981. So booth number is 981. We are hosting our demos and everything. We'll be able to perform an assessment. Any of your workloads, including data warehouse, ETL layer as well. And we have a footprint for yourself. So thanks for the conversation. Stop by the booth. We'll explore much more on it.